Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 101 on Sports here on Fox 2. I'm Randy Karraker. One of the interesting developing sports stories in the St. Louis metro area is the Lindenwood athletics program. Last year was their first in Division I. Now, as they embark on Season 2 in football, we'll get an opportunity to visit with a couple of their players, their offensive coordinator, and their head coach, Jed Stugart, who gets us started on the 101 on Sports. We welcome into the conversation Jed Stugart, the head football coach here at Lindenwood University. Second year heading into Division I. First of all, man, that first year went by in a blink, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about fast. This whole year's gone fast, but especially that season. And so, and here we are embarking on our next one. It's amazing how my dad always told me, man, wait till you get older, it goes fast. And he's right. I'm finding that out.
Yes. Well, as you prepare for Season 2 in D1, what did you find was the biggest difference between D2 and D1 in your first year?
Well, I mean, I think just the reality is there's you kind of notice a lot of difference in the trenches. You know, the offense, defensive lines. I mean, guys are just a little bigger, a little taller. Because that's in all my years and different. I've coached at every level. That's what you tend to see. I think skill-wise, I've always said there's not a huge difference between Division I and Division II with skilled players. I think you see that. That's why you see a lot of upsets and things like that where somebody goes in and beats a D2 beats an FCS or an FCS beats an FBS. But I think that's where we really noticed was just the size in the trenches, and it takes some time to get there.
I got the sense that maybe there was, on the part of some opponents last year, maybe a little bit of lack of respect because of the fact that you guys were making the transition. Do you feel like maybe you surprised some people with the success that you had?
Well, we are basically all of our wins were over, from underdog wins. We weren't picked to win the game and to have it end up with 7-3 record, and 4 of those FCS wins were we were the underdogs in, and so I think we gained some respect with that. I mean, I think until you really are a contender in the conference, I've always said, people aren't going to be. You're not going to be perceived that way till you're an actual contender in the league, and that's where we have set our sights, and that's what our work that we're trying to get there. But I've been appreciative of people and the things they've recognized about our guys and where we're at.
And one of the things about your guys is that they really do buy in. And I know you had that philosophy, hey, why can't we do this? Why can't we be successful? And you got a tremendous amount of buy-in from your roster.
Well, I've always kind of been a dreamer. It's like you got to set your goals. You got to think big and dream big. And I know it probably goes against the conventional wisdom of coaches that tend to think, and we do the same thing one day at a time, but we always speak to, wanting to win championships. I've done that my whole career. I mean, I think you can't just say it and it's going to happen, but to celebrate that vision and that dream. And, that's one of our pillars in our program is direction. And so you've got to set a direction. I think that's why we've always talked about that openly to our guys and kind of said, hey, why not us? And then the job is to get them to buy into what it takes to get there. And I say you don't always have to love the process. You have to endure the process, and getting kids to know that there's a big process that needs to happen before the games start.
On the day that Lindenwood announced they were going Division I, I asked Jed Stugart an impossible question to answer. I said, what kind of doors will this open recruiting-wise? You had no idea because you hadn't done it yet. Now that you've done it for a year and a half and you've seen what doors do open, what's it been like?
Well, I mean, we've said, we're just getting kind of different guys in the building. It's, every kid aspires to play Division I football. And we would, when we were a Division II program, we still would get a lot of guys that were being recruited from Division I programs here. But the job was always tough because at the end of the day, if they had an opportunity to play at that level, 9 times out of 10, we'd probably lose that kid. And not all the time. We'd win one here or there. I think the big difference is that now, kids recognize, man, this location is hard to beat anywhere. Our facilities are hard to beat, and we're playing Division I football. I think it's that final box of the overall package that kids see, and so getting that response now, and now we're in the game, we're in the hunt a little bit with other D1 schools, and not just FCS but FBS consideration, and winning some of those. So it has made a big difference.
You have always been a coach that adapted to your talent, but based on what you saw last year, is there anything for this season, for 2023, that during the offseason you and your staff have had to change schematically or desired to change schematically?
Well, I think you always have to minimize your weaknesses and really build even more on your strengths to offset some of your weaknesses. That's what every program, what every coach is doing. But I think to your point, we've realized, okay, we're humble enough to know that we still have work to do. We're playing established Division I teams that have been that way for a long time, and we're just entering our second year. So, you kind of, to get where you're going, you got to kind of know where you've been. And so that's kind of made, that's kind of put us as some schematically, but obviously recruiting wise, and also, again, recognizing your weaknesses and saying, okay, how do we start to address those, and then build on our strengths. And we're, this year we're, one of those is, the reality is we're going to be a younger team than we've been in the past with graduation and stuff like that. And so it's really exciting to see a bunch of young faces and a bunch of new guys that really haven't had, or guys that haven't had opportunities to play yet, that are starting to step into those roles.
And then the other thing I ask about the schematic question, philosophically, from an overall philosophical standpoint of the program, have you had to change anything? Whether it is, okay, this player that used to be able to play for us, we really, unfortunately, that guy can't play for us anymore. We have to get a different type of guy in the room.
Yeah, and that was kind of I think everybody recognized that right away. We didn't have a lot of guys that we lost in the portal, but we felt like kids, after we got through spring ball, there was a little bit of that transition of kids that recognized, okay, I've got maybe guys that had 1 year of eligibility, but they've graduated, and it was time to move on, and they knew it was time to move on and graduate and get on with their post education life. And then there's those and so that is a part of it. It has to be a part of it. And but I think the reality is we had success here before because we've been able to recruit a lot of guys that could play at the FCS level, and that we were able to kind of win some of those battles that were now in our program that were FCS quality players. And what's really cool is to kind of see how many of these underdog stories, guys that came through, and all of a sudden their development has got them on the field, and they've emerged as those type of players. So it's been kind of a gamut of all those things. But yeah, we just chose not to. We felt like we weren't going to take this approach of kind of a mass exodus and really recruit heavily off the transfer portal. We wanted to kind of grow and recruit through high school and kind of develop because, it's kind of that, Rome wasn't built in a day kind of mindset.
I know you've got a couple of sales pitches. Number one, you've got a lot of parents of football players that are tuned in. Let's start with this. Give your 1 minute pitch to the parents and the kids. What makes Lindenwood a place to give an opportunity to?
Well, it's a cliched statement, but everybody says, family, but we are a family here, and in our actions, not just words. I think, one of the proudest things I will say to really find the true culture of a program is, at the end of last season, there was a tweet going around, and we ended up being the only Division I program that had nobody enter the transfer portal. And I think that said a lot about our coaching staff, our team, how they love each other, how they play for each other. And, I think that speaks volumes. And that would be, like I said, because, recruiting's a sales job, and everybody's going to try to do it. So you have to find through, how do I find the authenticity of a program? And that was one example of how I feel that we are an authentic cultured program.
And then I can tell you, because I've been here, August 31st is the opener against Wisconsin Stevens Point. You're a fun team to watch, but you get an opportunity. Tickets on sale for that August 31st game. Tell us about how fun this team is going to be to watch.
It's going to be, we love to, offensively, we love to score points. And, you've kind of seen that. We've been a pretty consistent offense through the years. And Coach Hovorka has done a great job with that. And I think, there's a lot of, we've got some new faces that we're really excited about, as going into this season. A lot of questions are going to be about, when people leave. I'm really excited about guys. Duggar, for example, will become our new quarterback. That's kind of, we haven't, we've had the same quarterback for a while, and it's exciting to see a new direction that way, and I'm excited about that. So there's a lot of really cool things offensively, and of course defensively, again, because that's where we're really young, and it's I'm excited to kind of see there's a different energy and a different swarm about them. They really want to develop even better defensively this year with a bunch of enthusiasm. So one thing about it is I know we're an entertaining football team to watch, and we've had a lot of come from behind wins last year, which has made it even more exciting. I wish they just get it over with early. It's a little bit hard on me, but that's part of the game. They are persistent.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations on the way things are going in D1. Good luck in 2023. Thanks for your time, and we'll be talking soon.
Thanks, Randy.
Jed Stugart, he is the head coach here at Lindenwood, joining us in the 101 on Sports. More coming up here. We're going to meet a couple of the Lindenwood players here on Fox 2. Welcome back to the 101 on Sports. I'm Randy Karraker. Great to have you with us here on Fox 2 at Lindenwood. The Lions getting ready to start their season against Wisconsin Stevens Point on August 31st here at Hunter Stadium, and we get a chance to visit with quarterback Cole Duggar and cornerback Wesley Hines. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Cole, you're getting ready for your first full year as a starter. How are things going in camp?
They're going good. It's good to finally be the guy. I've been here. This will be my 4th year coming up, so was behind Cade for a while, and it was good to just for him to mentor me and get me ready for this upcoming season. Really excited.
When did it strike you that, okay, I'm going to be the guy?
I knew going into last year, like Cade, that being Cade's last year, that next year would probably be my time. So probably in spring ball, just getting reps with the ones. So.
And I'm glad that we get a chance to talk to you because you've been here for a while and you've seen the development, the going from D2 to D1. From your standpoint as a quarterback, what's the biggest change been like?
Like Coach Stug said, really you see a lot of difference in the trenches. The O-line, D-line, they got a little more size, but at the end of the day, D2, we still play football. So, football's football. We're just going to go out there and try to play the best game we can every day. So.
Good. And Wesley, how about you, the switch from D2 to D1 last year from a defensive perspective?
Yes, sir. I think that defensively we have guys who can compete at this level. Coming from D2 to D1, I think that obviously, the trenches were a main aspect for us to focus on, but I think that we saw this year that we can hold our own. Skill positions from safeties to linebackers, we all have a passion for the game, and I think that really carried us a long way. I think that was really the difference between us and a normal D2 team that would compete at this level.
Did it ever strike you during a game, you guys would get a stop, the offensive would hit the field and score in like 3 plays in 42 seconds? You say, come on, guys, calm down a little bit. Slow it down. Give us a chance to breathe here.
Absolutely. We have an explosive offense here at Lindenwood, and, there's good and bad to that. We love to see our guys score, but also a little rest will be nice sometimes.
What's the strength of the defense heading into 23?
Defense, I think our back end looks really strong. We're bringing back 2 corners. We brought in 2 really strong safeties. And obviously our front end has always been great, bringing back a senior, Moses Ale, and Kobe McClendon. I think we look really strong up front and the back end, and I think we will all mold together to form a new great defense for this year.
And I want you specifically, and I want both of you to talk about what this could be here in the St. Louis area, but the St. Louis area. So what's it like to be St. Louis's football team?
It's great. I've seen our support really ramp up in these past years. Being at Lindenwood for 5 years, it's crazy to see how much more recognition we've gotten. From us going to, from the MIAA to the GOVC to now D1, people are starting to really know our name.
Yeah, that's quite a switch, man. over the course of the 5 years, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So how much fun has that been for you, though, to watch that ascent? It's kind of like climbing a mountain.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's surreal. To see this program grow, I feel like I've been a part of it throughout my whole journey, and it's awesome just to see our guys come in, from the new guys to guys who have been here with me for these 5 years. It's crazy. It's unbelievable.
And Cole, you're an Oklahoma guy, and you come from a football mad area, but it seems like last year things kind of changed here.
You could definitely tell, like, my first fall, 21, or fall was 20, but we didn't have the season. But my first fall here where we had a season, you can kind of tell the switch from that fall in 21 to last year, just the hype around the game and the crowds even that we were getting out, the tailgating, everything's just changing around here, and it's awesome.
I want you guys, and I asked Coach Stugart, and I want you guys to give it too, because he gave the sales pitch, but you guys have been here for a long time, and like he mentioned, nobody entered the transfer portal. What is it about Lindenwood that has kept you here and excites you about being a part of the program?
Yeah, I think Coach Stug talked about it, and it sounds cliche, but everybody says they got a family, but here at Lindenwood, like, it really is a family. Like, we love each other. I love every single person on this team, and I feel like we don't really have to sell it. Like, you come on a visit here and you hang out with some of us, you'll see, like, we love each other around here.
Cool. And what about you, Wesley?
I would absolutely agree with Cole Duggar there. I feel like sometimes we don't even know that people are around looking at us and watching us. Even guys on visits, they come here and they can sense it. It's just a different vibe here. I haven't been a part of a different program. However, I feel that after I leave Lindenwood and graduate, I can call any guy on this team and they'll be there for me. We really have a love and a bond here at Lindenwood.
Yeah, and by the way, you're a graduate student, right?
Yes, sir.
So what's your graduate degree going to be in? And tell us about the education that you've gotten here.
Lindenwood's a great place to come and learn. I got my bachelor's in business administration back in May 2020 this year, and I'm going on to get my master's. And I feel that Lindenwood, from the business perspective of things, it's been great. I've learned a lot of things. I feel like I am setting myself up for a nice, strong future after I leave Lindenwood.
Good. Well, we know you guys have a great future. And the immediate future, the 2023 football season, best of luck, and have fun in the opener against Wisconsin-Stevens Point.
Thank you so much.
Wesley Hines, Cole Duggar from the Lindenwood football team, a great program that's on the rise in Division I. More coming up right after this on the 101 on Sports here on Fox 2. Welcome back to the 101 on Sports. Great to have you with us here at Lindenwood University. And as Lindenwood gets ready for year 2 in Division I, we get a chance to visit with offensive coordinator Dusty Havorka. It's good to see you, and congratulations on, first of all, a very good offensive year in year 1 in Division I, and good luck this coming season.
Well, I appreciate that. I think, we had a lot of guys that have been in the program for numerous years, last season. And so that veteranship, I think, really helped us kind of do the things that we did last year. But as we all know, guys graduate, productivity graduates, and now it's time to turn to the next crew. And
we're going to touch mostly on what's coming up. But last year, as you folks started making the transition into Division I, what's the difference between a Division II player, a good Division II player, and a Division I player? How does that manifest itself?
Well, there's not a whole lot of difference there. I think in the trenches is where we've always talked about that you got to be sizable. You got to be able to go up that level, and in size is probably one of the biggest pieces to that whole puzzle. We had been pretty fortunate for a couple years to have some very successful seasons at D2. And those recruiting classes that kind of came out of those years had some very high caliber, we felt like, Division I caliber football players in there. So, the way that the program had been built, the progress we had made over the years, we felt like it was already on that progression and getting to that point. So there wasn't a whole lot of like, oh my gosh, we need to kind of start figuring out now, how do we change our roster up? How do we do this? We really felt like these guys could go and do it, and we believed in them, and they went out and proved it every single Saturday.
Dusty, when you talk about the trenches in your day-to-day life as you're coaching these guys, do you ever get used to the fact, I assume that you do, that there are so many 300-pound people running around the earth? It's amazing.
Well, we like to have them out there, that's for sure.
Right.
If we have a lot of those guys on earth, just pounding around our football field. The 300-pounders can do it for you.
Yeah. Last year, you had a quarterback that was essentially a coach on the field, right? A guy that had been around. But you have a guy in Duggar that's going to be the guy that has the reins now. What difference is there in moving from last year to this year at that position?
Well, anytime you've got a new guy kind of, calling the shots from the quarterback position, that you just got to make sure that philosophically, from myself as a play caller to our quarterback coach, Coach Bethany, to him and that entire room of quarterbacks, that we're all one mind, and then making sure that the decisions that are being made on the football field are the things that are going to set our guys up for success. And that's ultimately what we need out of that guy.
And you recruit to a philosophy. You have players that are going to do what you want to do philosophically. So from that standpoint, from a philosophical standpoint, does anything change?
No, we run a pretty dynamic offense, and we recruit dynamic guys, and he's definitely one of those guys that fits that mold. He's a lot faster than a lot of people think he is, and but he's an incredible leader, game manager. He's very level-headed. But again, that's what you got to have with a guy coming in. You can't have emotional guys that are all over the place and trying to make their own plays and doing different things, right? Everything's got a purpose. Everything's got a plan. And he's the type of guy that is able to do that.
Was there anything that did happen in the first year in Division I last year that you, during this offseason, as you reflected, self-scouted, you said, we got to do something different for 2024 because this is just the way we have to do it in D1?
I don't know that there was really anything a whole lot different. I think, again, like I alluded to, we had recruited a couple really good classes. So you got some young guys that are very, very talented, and getting that talent to play together, to grow and develop is why you're a football coach. That's why you get paid to do the job, right? Is getting those guys to play at the level that we believe that they can play at. And that's what we're doing right now, is really preparing those guys to go out and do it.
How has, from a recruiting standpoint, being able to say we're D1 changed what you do on the recruiting trail?
Well, we have a lot more guys interested. We'll put it that way. We know that this place, Lindenwood, is absolutely incredible. The locker room that we're sitting in right now, to the stadium setting, to the school, the university, the reputation. It's really allowed us to kind of bring a lot of the region to Lindenwood and really make this a viable option for a lot of really talented Division I prospects.
One more thing, August 31st, Wisconsin-Stevens Point. How do you feel right now as you traverse training camp about where you'll be on August 31st? You're going to be ready to rock and roll? Are you going to mesh with that date well?
Well, you're always building to that day, right? You know that's go time, right? And so every day that you're taking advantage of your meeting time, your practice time, and making sure that guys really take advantage of this camp. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we got to compete with ourselves every single day. That's the only way that we're going to actually be ready for Stevens Point, not thinking about Stevens Point, but every single day, guys going out and holding each other to the right standards, the right levels of execution. And that's truly our focus, is what are we doing today, all right, to be better tomorrow.
Well, I know from a personal standpoint, you have an offense that's fun to watch. Congratulations on the way things are going, and good luck in 24.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
We hope you enjoy getting to know the people here at Lindenwood. Head coach Jed Stugart, the offensive coordinator Dusty Havorka, Cole Duggar, the quarterback, and Wesley Hines, the cornerback. We thank you for being a part of the show. And don't forget, Lindenwood starts their season against Wisconsin-Stevens Point, August 31st at 7 o'clock at Hunter Stadium here on the campus of Lindenwood University. For all of us, we thank you for tuning in to the 101 on Sports, and we'll see you next weekend here on Fox 2.